Hello, welcome back. I'm Lady Heart, and over the weekend I hit 100 subscribers on my YouTube channel. So, I am just so excited. Thank you all so much for tuning in every single week and for encouraging me in everything that I do. Well, I am blown away. Thank you. Thank you all so much. As promised, I announced a giveaway earlier this week, and I will be announcing the winner of that giveaway at the end of this video. I also promised a Q&A, and that is what we're doing today. I've compiled all your questions over the last couple of months, and I will be answering a few of them today, and it's my first Q&A as well, so that is just doubly exciting. I feel like I'm gonna burst. Okay, so the very first question, how did you get started? I will try and keep this answer as brief as possible because it'll probably be the longest one in the video. So I've got to give you some back context first. When I was a little girl, everything was a costume. A tea towel pinned onto the back of my t-shirt was a cape. A sarong tied around my waist was a grand ball gown. A petticoat that I put on my head and then tucked behind my ears was my long blonde hair. So my imagination for turning anything into a costume and then becoming the princess or character that I wanted to be was strong from the very, very beginning. Once I got into preschool and kindy, I started putting on these little lunchtime productions where I would basically choreograph a play or dance on the spot during lunchtime and then force all my friends and classmates to be in them. So I was also doing that from a young age. So I've drawn every single day of my life, whether it's just like a little cartoon or a sketch or an idea. I've been drawing every single day for my whole life. When I left high school, I worked in fashion primarily. So I actually, in another life, I worked for very high up fashion houses doing content for them. So I was always involved in sort of the fashion sphere. I just jumped ahead a little bit, but I don't want to talk too much about corporate boringness. So before that though, I was completely in costume shops and I used to wear, extravagant makeup and my big hair, and from that, people were always asking, will you do my makeup for me? And I'm like, okay. So because that seemed to be something that was, liked, I ended up getting my set 4 in makeup art and didn't really have a great experience being a makeup artist. So I dropped out of that, continued working in costume shops. Then there was sort of quite a long period of years where I wasn't performing or being on stage or doing sort of anything creative. Life was happening at that point. And then when I sort of came back into a position in my life where I could decide what I wanted to do. Basically what happened was, from that corporate world, I took a bunch of jobs that just stopped paying me, which did an absolute number on my self-esteem, my mental health, because I was working my ass off for these companies and just didn't get paid. I burnt myself out. There was a point in my life where I was having pretty much a mental breakdown every single week. And then finally, the big one happened and I ended up in hospital and came out with a diagnosis and medication, which changed my life incredibly. When you speak to other people about what their experience was like in hospital and psychiatric unit, they usually don't have the best things to say. I had the absolute opposite experience. I had a fantastic time in psych ward. The medication that they put me on worked immediately, and suddenly it was like back in the room. Awesome. So unfortunately, from that whole experience though, I could no longer work full time at an outside job. I had already been working on I had started doing burlesque and I was really enjoying that. I was getting a lot of gigs performing that way. And so because of that whole experience, I thought, well, you know, I've got this thing. I've got people who want me to make costumes for them. Why don't I focus more on whatever this is? So I took a small business course. I got my Cert 4 in business management. I then started to focus on, building costumes and my appearances and things like that. Then I entered DIY Burlesque Koala. I've never been in a competition before in my life. I won that. It was incredible, one of the best experiences of my entire life. So that was a burlesque competition where the contestants had to build a whole costume and routine for less than $100. So it had been going in New Zealand for quite a few years, and it was the first time it was brought to Australia. And yeah, so I won that. That was amazing. Then I entered a Halloween pinup competition. I'd never done pinup before. I won that one too. So by then I was very encouraged to sort of continue going. I got into video making a couple of years ago. It was always something I wanted to look at, and sort of the seeds of it organically kind of grew. So I just kept messing around with making little videos in apps over the years, and then I found that I had a true love for making videos and specifically editing them. So this is all really like an editing and video learning process journey for me as well, because it's something I enjoy so much. So I just love doing it, and being able to do it every single day has been absolutely incredible. From there, like, my business started growing. I decided, what am I gonna do next? I decided to make a short film. That was the entirety of last year. So I made a short film, The Death of Miss Diva. I wanted it specifically to be as B-grade as possible, so that definitely when I can look back at it in the future and be like, oh my God, my first film was terrible, but so hysterical. And from that experience, I found the loves of my life, like friends who became family. I could not have had a more different outcome than I expected, but the most beautiful one for the soul. So yeah, making my movie was quite a different experience than I imagined, but in the end, absolutely incredible. From there, I decided, okay, well, what comes after that? I want to be able to share my skills and what I do with people. I decided, okay, my New Year's resolution for this year, let's give YouTube a try. Put one video up every single week for the entirety of the year and see how that goes. And I was not expecting, to be at 100 subscribers and people who enjoy what I do in only 4 months' time. So I'm definitely, really encouraged to do that. Look, I've had so many doors slammed in my face, so many. I understand I'm a little bit different from what people are used to, and that doesn't always translate well for what they're working with. So DIY is so important to me because it allows me the ability to be able to show what I do without any doors slammed in my face. So I've worked so many jobs. I basically think of myself as a bit of a Jill of all trades, because I want to try it all. I want to do it all. And I don't like when someone tells me I can't. So I'm just like, fine, I'll just figure it out myself then. I guess my entire thing is, I'm just going to show you. I've just always loved to make things. I've loved to get dressed up. I've loved to shine the spotlight on other people as well, or get them to join me on whatever the hell I'm doing. Yeah, I guess that's sort of how I got all started. And yeah. Okay, question number 2. What piece did you enjoy making the most? It's hard to pick a favorite because as I go, I'm developing my skills. So I'm learning new ways to do things, new techniques as I'm going along. So because that feeling of hitting small little new achievements is so constant, I guess, with that learning, and my brain's just going, oh, dopamine, dopamine, you learned a new skill, that it is hard to sort of pick a favorite, because it's more of a journey than just the finished project. But if I had to, look, I can't say which one I enjoyed making the most, but I can tell you I probably love my oogie the most. When I was packing oogie away, as we're in the process of moving at the moment, I held on to oogie for so long. I didn't actually know that I felt that strongly about that costume until I had to take it off the mannequin and pack him away. So yeah, I absolutely love my oogie costume, and it is going to get a workout this October, definitely. Alrighty, next question. What do you do to wind down after a busy season? So I have a couple of busy seasons a year. October is the main one. So for Halloween season, I generally start around I'm already going now, but like my hard start for Halloween is probably mid-August, and then I go all the way to beginning of November. So that's my very big busy season. What do I do to wind down after a busy season? I like to schedule in a good mental breakdown, to be honest. No, well, yeah, a little bit. Over the last couple of years, I have learned how important that self-care time and relax time after something huge is. Pretty much, I just go underground and I try to fulfill my needs as much as possible. So just making sure that I'm comfortable, making sure, I've got little treats and I'm enjoying food that makes me feel happy, and just getting plenty of rest and trying to be in that moment. It's really hard to sort of achieve this, like the big thing, or get through the busy season, and then you want to be like, oh, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And so I've learned over the last couple of years that it's really important to just stop and enjoy that achievement in and of itself, or just enjoy that period of time and give it the proper reflection it deserves. Self-care is just such a huge, important thing, and I think many people think, bubble baths and things like that, and yeah, it totally can be that, but it's also just taking a minute to wind down and slow down and appreciate yourself and what you've done. So yeah, I guess to wind down after a busy season, just take care of myself for as long as it takes. Last year it took to probably about January, actually. It was a big year last year, but learned a lot of lessons from that. So I'm hoping the wind down after this year is a little easier. My other busy season is around February, so you've got like Mardi Gras and Fringe, so I've got a lot of performers who need costumes or props, and I do a lot of hosting around then as well, so I've got gigs that I'm at. Because my two busy seasons are quite spread out over the year, it's nice to have that complete period where I'm just fully focused on just looking after myself and then getting ready for the next step. So plenty of time in between, like just take everything at your own pace, I think. Yeah, so that's a good enough answer. Favorite tattoo? Oh, this guy. No, it's got to be, well, yeah, but it's got to be anything probably post 2018. So yeah, I really love my moon tattoo, my rose that was for my granddad when he passed on, my lady heart on my hands. Yeah. So, but definitely this guy. A lot of people are like, oh, I recognize you from your moon tattoo. Like, yeah, that's my favorite one. What was the longest or most complicated build? Remember when I was rhinestoning those angel wings? I think that was actually in line for some sort of world record rhinestoning, because that was, I can't remember how many days it ended up. I'll have to look back over the video. It was like 5 or 6 full days of rhinestoning and painting and doing all the things that I did to those wings. And those were like 10-hour days. They weren't just short sessions. It was 10 hours every single time. So that was the longest and probably the most complicated, but really happy with how they worked out in the end. So worth it. What's your hair color? Wigs. My orange hair color it's called Dublin. I don't know the brand. It used to be called Mango Copper, but it's called Dublin now. My natural hair color is, I can't remember. I've worn wigs since I was about 14. I just love them. Back then it was, you used to get embarrassed to like, oh, I can't let anyone know I'm wearing a wig. You wanted it to pass so naturally. And we didn't have the technology for them to look really good at the time. Like, lace fronts were not a thing. So now, like, as I've gotten older and I'm just like, fuck it, I just enjoy wearing wigs, so I'm gonna wear wigs. Like, I don't care. So yeah, that's the long answer about my hair color. All right, who are your inspirations? Biggest one is Vivienne Westwood. And my heart broke when she died a few months ago. That was really difficult week for me. Vivienne has inspired so much of my work. She's an absolute pioneer. I could talk non-stop about that. I am also inspired by the director, Ed Wood. Further on from that, Tim Burton doing Ed Wood. So huge Tim Burton fan, have been since I was a little girl, and I think the the influence speaks for itself. Big fan of Roman Dirge's work. He did Lenore the Cute Little Dead Girl. Jonan Vasquez, pre-Invader Zim, so like Johnny the Homicidal Maniac was absolutely incredible. Eras, I love like 18th century Georgian, Edwardian, Victorian. I love the 30s and 40s. I love the 80s. Biggest life influence would probably be Terry B from My Ruin. I have followed her work since her earliest bands, love her spoken word pieces. Speaking of spoken word, love Scroobius Pip and The King Blues, absolutely fantastic. Definitely inspired by music, so putting like rock and metal kind of elements into my looks, but also like getting to keep it glamorous is like, it's a fun sort of thing to have to balance every now and then. So yeah, I love it. Best of both worlds, really. Your dream production or costume. All right, so when people ask me the question, oh, what would you want to do when you retire? My absolute dream, I would perform in a theater restaurant, one of those horror themed dinner restaurants, so you get dinner and a show, and I would want to perform every single night. And my ideal fantasy is that I pretend I hate it, but I actually love it. And the manager will be completely aware of this, and I will want to be like, I'm too good for this damn show, and then go out and keep doing it every single night. So that's a really weird and specific fantasy I just shared with you. So I guess that I do want to come up with my own like dinner horror theater production. My dream production really would be, I'm sort of getting it ready now. It's in its seedling form. Oh, I can't actually tell you without giving away too much. I think you'll have to wait till closer to Halloween for that one. But dream costume. Okay, so I want to build a mechanical stained glass outfit that it's completely like looks like stained glass, and then the skirt part will open, and then, you know, ideally I'd have some kind of clockwork thing that moves once it's open. So it's not gonna be like wearable or comfortable at all. I've drawn like an early concept piece actually. I'll go get it for you. Yeah. So this is sort of the concept for it. And then those bits would like open out and yeah, something would be moving sort of in between. So that's the dream. Looking at it now, I drew this a couple of years ago now. I would add like huge shoulder kind of pieces now to it as well, just, you know, because it doesn't have enough. What's coming up? All right, well, as I alluded to, something potentially big is going to be growing for October, which I'm really excited about. It would be the first incarnation of the grand event I'm planning. So hopefully that all goes to plan. I also said we're in the middle of moving. Once we are at the new place, I will be setting up my studio properly and permanently, which I'm very, very excited about because I'll be able to improve my content even more, and I won't have to pull out all my equipment every single time I want to film, as well as my sewing machine. So that's probably the most exciting bit. What else is coming up? I'm about to appear in a European expressionist film. I am helping a couple of people get together their own productions at the moment, so I'm sort of in a lending my skills kind of mode with my work until the new studio is all set up. So I can't wait for that. It's gonna be absolutely fantastic. New studio! Okay, cool, that was all the questions. Oh my god, that was so much fun. All right, finally we've gotten to the part of the video where I will be announcing the winner of my 100 subscribers giveaway. I have written out all the names of the entrants and I'm gonna put them in the old-fashioned hat. Alrighty. And the winner is, drum roll please, Victory Von Duchess! Oh my god, congratulations! So you have won the rabbit mask, one of my heart hats, and a bunch of Miss Diva stuff. So congratulations, gorgeous one! I will be doing more giveaways in the future. The next one when we hit 250 subscribers. So if you haven't already, please subscribe below and you could win something in one of my next giveaways or hopefully learn something from one of my upcoming videos. We've got some definite fun things coming up. So thank you so much for joining me on my very first Q&A. I had so much fun. I hope that answered your questions. If you do have any more questions, please put them in the comments below and I will do my very best to answer them, or hey, if this works out well, I'll answer some more questions for you in a future video. Thank you for joining me once again. I have been Lady Heart and you have been an audience. I'll see you next week.